And I started talking before I realized that my camera was going. Was not going, I should say. But anyway, this is a late 60s, I believe, Gibson Medalist. There's not a lot of easy ways to date this thing, but from the previous owner, he believed it might have been a 68, I think. This was originally a bass amp with a 15-inch speaker, but this one has an adapter plate to put a 12-inch speaker in it. It had a Vintage 30 in it. When I got it, I didn't love the Vintage 30 in it, partially because this is a very powerful amp, and that's a 60-watt speaker, and this is supposed to be 50 watts, but I think at times it definitely peaks. If you crank it up, it peaks out higher than that. So I wound up putting a Eminence Texas Heat in it, maybe. That's what it's called. It's a 100-watt speaker. Just something that I wasn't as worried about, and that just had a little more headroom when this thing was cranked up. So it is a very, very loud 50 watts. It's got a unique sound. Like I said, it was voiced to be a bass amp. I might do some more tweaking on this to get some more brightness out of it, because what you'll probably hear in this video is that it is, it sounds good, but I just maybe want a little more sparkle on the top end. But this is my new Partscaster Telecaster. And this is with the bridge pickup with the treble turned all the way up. Or the tone knob, I should say, turned all the way up. As you can see, I've got the master turned up about halfway. I've got a little bit of bass rolled off. So that's clean on the bridge pickup of a Tele. I'll do some change in here so you can hear it. If I add a little more bass in, it really... it fills out nice. Switch over neck pickup. It's almost too much. So usually I like to set it back just below noon. Somewhere in that. And this does have a closed back cabinet on it, so it does put out a good amount of low end. Let's go to the middle position. Go back to the bridge. Let's change that treble. The treble is the weird thing, and I need to dig more into the schematic on these, because from 0 to noon, it seems to roll up some high mids, and I don't know. It's as you get past noon, it seems to bring in some what would be low mids on a guitar. I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. So I'll roll it all the way off. Which is not a terrible sound. But if I go about a quarter up, you hear some of that high mid start to come back. Then about noon, But see, it's not. It doesn't add a lot of that sparkle that you would typically, you would think a treble pot would do. So this is where it gets weird. Let's go up past noon about a quarter. It really does sound like it's, in that 600 hertz to maybe 1K or even below range that it really starts to add. Certain guitars, that's probably pretty okay. And if I go all the way up, you really hear it. It adds some real bite to it. The middle position, I wonder what that would sound like on the middle position on the Tele. Not the most pleasant. It pushes it through, but it's not the most pleasant sounding. Like I said, I just would love for it to add some sparkle while it's doing that. I think those frequencies are okay if they have a little bit of top end sparkle. So, my neutral position is about here on this. And boy, this amp really starts to come to life as you crank the volume up. Check my recording. Just want to make sure I wasn't clipping the preamps. But I think the nature of the tone really starts to change as that volume knob comes up. And this is really a good. I like this sound. It's definitely not quite what I would want a Telecaster to be, but I still like it. Let's put some overdrive on the front of that. But you can hear that MIDI. It's not real nasal, it's more throaty. This is where it gets real interesting when it's kind of turned up like this. I put some of those more mids in there. Sorry, my guitar is not fully in tune. I'm going to crank on my tuner here for a second. But it's just a very different sound than most tube amps that I have from that era. Some of it I like, some of it I don't love. I would really love it if it was just had a little more sparkle to it. Just to help bring, those higher strings out and to add a little more string definition to it. Then I actually think the tone that this amp kicks out is really good. I do think, for layering tracks, for different guitars. That's with some more overdrive kicked on. This is like an ODR style pedal. I'm going to kick off drives. You see how that really cleans up if I take that off there? I don't know if this will clip my preamps, but I'm going to crank this up all the way because it is a very cool sound, I think, if I get this amp. It's going to buzz a little bit, but... That's with all the overdrive pedals off. Throw a little overdrive on top of that. This is a tone that's probably my favorite sound on this amp is when you crank it all the way up and you hit it with a pedal in the front. Just to saturate it some more. It kind of fills out some of those frequencies I feel like are missing on this thing. But anyway, it's a super cool amp. Don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but for now it's going to live in here with all the rest of my amps. All right, thanks.